ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भागवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, Text 20. Saha Vai Bhavan Lok Nirikshanaartham Avyaktalingah Vicharati Api Swit Yogeshwaram Gatim Andha Buddhi Katham Vichakshit Graha Anubandha Savai Bhavan Loka Nirikshanaartham Savai Bhavan Loka Nirikshanaartham Avyakta Lingo Vicharati Apisvet Avyakta Lingo Vicharati Apisvet Yogeshwaranam Gatimandha Buddhi Yogeshwaranam Gatimandha Buddhi Katham Vichakshit Grahanubandha Katham Vichakshit Grahanubandha Savai Bhavan Lok Nirikshanaartham Avyakta Lingo Vicharti Apisvet Yogeshwaranam Gatimandha Buddhi Katham Vichakshit Grahanubandha Savai Bhavan Lok Nirikshanaartham Avyakta Lingo Vicharti Apisvet Yogeshwaranam Gatimandha Bandhi Katham Vichakshit Grahanubandha Savai Bhavan Loka Nirikshanaartham Avyakta Lingo Vicharakshya Pisvet Yogeshwaranam Kapiyan Buddhi Katham Vichakshit Grahanubandha Savai Bhavan Lok Nirikshanaartham Avyakta Lingo Vicharti Apisvet Yogeshwaranam Gatimandha Buddhi Katham Vichakshit Grahanubandha तस्मै भवान् लोकनिरीक्षणार्थं विचरति अक्षेत् योगेश्वराणां कपि अन्धबुद्धि कथं विचक्षित ग्रहानुबन्ध. Ladies, Saha, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, or His incarnation Kapil Dev, Vai, indeed, Bhavan, your good self, Lok Nirikshanartham, just to study the characteristics of the people of this world, Avyaktalingaha, without manifesting your real identity, Vicharati, are traveling in this world, Apiswet, whether Yogeshwaranam, of all the advanced yogis, Gatim, the characteristics or actual behavior, and the Buddhi, who are illusioned and have become blind to spiritual knowledge. Katham, how, Vichakshit, may know, Grahanubandha, I who am bound by attachment to family life or worldly life. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is not a fact that your good self is a direct representative of Kapila Dev, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To examine people and see who is actually a human being and who is not, you have presented yourself to be a deaf and dumb person. Are you not moving this way upon the surface of the world? I am very much attached to family life and worldly activities, and I am blind to spiritual knowledge. Nonetheless, I am now present before you and am seeking enlightenment from you. How can I advance in spiritual life? Please responsively. Is it not a fact that your good self is a direct representative of Kapil Dev, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? To examine people and see who is actually a human being and who is not, you have presented yourself to be a deaf and dumb person. Are you not moving this way upon the surface of the world?
Are you not moving this way upon the surface of the world?
I am very attached to family life and worldly activities, and I am blind to spiritual knowledge. Nonetheless, I am now present before you and am seeking enlightenment from you. How can I advance in spiritual life? Purport. Although Maharaj Rahugan was playing the part of a king, he had been informed by Jad Bharat that he was not a king, nor was Jalbharat deaf and dumb. Such designations were simply coverings of the spirit soul. Everyone must come to this knowledge, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 2.13, Dehino asmin yatha dehe. Everyone is encased within the body. Since the body is never identical with the soul, the bodily activities are simply illusory. In the association of such a sadhu as Jalbharat, Maharaj Rahugan came to the awareness that his activities as a royal authority were simply illusory phenomena. He therefore agreed to receive knowledge from Jalbharat, and that was the beginning of his perfection. Tad vijnanartham sa gurum eva bigachet. A person like Maharaj Rahugan was very inquisitive to personality like Jalbharat, and spiritual science must approach a Uttamam Bhagavad 11.3.21. One must approach a guru like Jalbharat, a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to inquire about the goal of human life. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deva Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshe Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter, as entitled, is the discussion between Jalbharat and Maharaj Rahugan, which is chapter 10, and how Maharaj Rahugan meets Jalbharat. 9th chapter was the supreme characteristics of Jalbharat, which was explained in quite detail. That although he was looking like a deaf and dumb person, Jal means immoving. We have Jal and Chetan. Chetan means for having consciousness and which can move. But Jalbharat, because he knew that because of the attachment to the deer, he had to take a birth of a deer. From very beginning, he was completely like a deaf and dumb person without having any attachment. Even when his father tried for his Gayatri mantra, he did not accept that. He broke his sacred head. So King Jalbharat is now explaining to Maharaj Rahugan, who was the king of Sindhu and Sauvir states. Sindhu is the western part of now, which is in Pakistan. Because of that, we call it Indus River as Sindhu River, because the Persian they pronounce Sa as Ha. So Hindu River became Sindhu River. So there he was ruling, King Rahugan, and when the king required a carrier of his palanquin, a servant brought him Jalbharat, and he did not do any protest, and he just went with them. Jalbharat did not do any resistance. He just put himself as a humble servant of king. Humble means to think that, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Maro bhi rakho bhi jo iksha tohar nitya dasya prati tuya adhikar. If you like, you can kill me, or if you like, you can protect me. Once in 1971, Srila Prabhupada wrote me a letter. I asked him that how we can have the practical application of the verse Tranadapi Sunichena Taroropi Sahishnuna Amanina Manidena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So Srila Prabhupada replied that as far as one's own honor or respect is concerned, one should be very humble, humbler than the blade of grass. But when the superiors or spiritual master or Krishna is blasphemed, he said you can become angry like Lord Nrsingadev. Then there is no question of being humble. And he further wrote that we have seen practically that Lord Nityananda, when he was struck with that pot of wine by Jagai and Madhai both, Lord Chaitanya became so furious, although he wrote these verses, that he started calling his Sudarshan Chakra to kill these two miscreants, brother. So, that is the meaning of humbleness. We have also a story of Jiva Goswami, and when Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami became very old, one Pandit came for Shastrarth, for discussion. So, being old, they did not want to waste their time. He said, okay, we don't want to do discussion or Shastrarth, write me that you have been defeated by me. So they wrote. At that time, Jiva Goswami Pad was only about 10 or 12 years old boy, and he was having a gamcha on his shoulder, and lota, he was going to Jamuna. And when he heard that, he approached that Pandita and he said, no, although my superiors have given you this victory letter, but first you just try to have discussion with just boy like me. So he said, okay, when your uncle and father and both uncles have given me, then why? Is it not your humbleness? Why you are breaking the principle of humbleness? There is no need of having discussion with you. But he said no. Jiva Goswami Pad said no. I have to protect the honor of my superiors. That is my duty. So he had a discussion, Shastrarth, and defeated them. So again, Jad Bharat was very careful not to kill the ants. So he was avoiding the killing of ants. So one step he will put on right, next step on the left. The king became very disturbed, and he chastised Jad Bharat with the filthy language. Again, as we see that Vachu Vegam mansa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udaropastha Vegam, Etan Vegan yo Vishet Dhirah, Sarvam Apimam Pratvim Sashishyat. One who can control these 6 urges, Vegas, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So all over the first is the language or Vani, Vachan. So he started with filthy language, and actually said that the effect of bullet is not so harmful as the effect of filthy language or bad language. It is said in Hindi, Boli is more harmful than the Goli. Bullet is more harmful than the harsh words. So we should try to speak sweet words, but of course not to appease our audience. Truth is always bitter, and that we have to speak. Prabhupada said, as Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur Prabhupada used chopping techniques. That whenever he will meet, he will use to smash the idea of impersonalism and voidism. Especially Mayavadis, as soon as they see him, they try to run away, and he was known as Singh Guru, Lion Guru. So we have to speak generally that in a manner that you are losing your, say, false ego. Also there is a small proverb, ऐसी वाणी बोलिए मन का आपा खोए औरन को शीतल करे आपहु शीतल होए. One should try to speak the language by losing the false ego of his mind. That words which not only makes you peaceful, but also makes calm and quiet to person who hears you. So, Jal Bharat was free from the bodily conception because this Dehatma Buddhi, everybody is engrossed since time immemorial, Anadikal. Just like Srila Prabhupada said, it's a skin disease, eczema. You have a skin disease, I also have same eczema, so we are both relative together. So not only Indian, Western, we also have among the Indians, oh you are Punjabi, you are Bengali, you are Gujarati. We think that all Gujaratis, all Punjabis will save us from the cruel hands of death. So we have to save, we have to become free from this bodily concept of life by chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Jal Bharat, actually, up to some extent, he tolerated, but when the limit crossed, then he protested. Just like we see in the case of Shishupal, Lord Krishna said, okay, up to 100 ill names if you will call me, I will excuse you. So in the Rasyu arena, when Shishupal started blaspheming Lord Krishna, he was just smiling, while other Pandavas, Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev, Arjuna, they became very angry. They wanted to kill Shishupal. But Lord said, don't worry. They were counting, it became 99. He said, Shishupal, be careful. You already uttered 99 names. Now don't blame me. But he was so puffed up. No. Again it's the 100th one, and Lord called his Sudarshan Chakra. And actually Lord gave the boon to Shishupal's mother, who was his aunt, because Shishupal was born with 4 hands. So the prediction was that if he goes to somebody's lap where his 2 hands are disappear, the same person will kill him. So Shishupal's mother will give to his son to different person to see that who is going to kill Shishupal. So as soon as he put Shishupal in the lap of Lord Krishna, his 2 hands disappeared. So she became very fearful and requested that he's your younger brother, younger cousin, please don't kill him. So Lord said, don't worry aunt, I will excuse his 100 offenses, 100 ill names, and after that, so every day Shishupal will call up to 90, 80 names and he will stop. But that day, the Saraswati has disillusioned him, the intelligence, become so proud that nobody can touch him, and Lord cut his way. Just like a story of, say, serpent. There was a serpent disciple of Narad Muni, and he said, I don't bite anyone, but these boys, kids and persons, they throw on stones and they hurt me like anything. What to do? I don't want to bite them. So Narad Muni said, okay, don't bite them, but it is not, I am not asking you, you can do the hissing sound. Don't bite them, just make them fearful. So he said, I have asked you not to bite them, but just show your hood so that people will be afraid of you. So, in the next, the Mool Shlokas, we see that the word is Nirikshanartham, observance. A devotee has very, very subtle vision. Srila Prabhupada, when he'll go to morning walk, he'll point out so many minor things which devotees are overlooked. And through those things, he will preach them. They will connect them with Krishna. In London, when he went to see these Lord Mountbatten, then they talked about so many hours for the horses. So devotees thought what people are doing is not preaching, he's talking about the horse, how to buy good quality horse. But then afterwards, Prabhupada started preaching. So this way, devotee has the quality of observing the nature's arrangement. And nature, we know, Maya dakshena prakriti suhite sajaracharam hetuvanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. That this, we say ultimate nature, but nature is not independent. Just like a car, in a car, a child may see car is moving by own, but intelligent person knows a driver is there to drive the car. So generally people say, oh, supreme is the nature, but whose nature? I know your nature, you know my nature. Your nature is different from my nature. So if we call it nature, then we must speak whose nature? So Krishna's nature, Prakriti is not ultimate. Srishti Siti Pralaya Sadhan Shakti Rekha Chaye Ves Vimnani Vivarti Durga. So as shadow moves, as hand moves, shadow also moves along with the hand. Similarly, this Durga Devi, it acts like the shadow of Krishna. It is not the independent. So we have to be very careful, and if we observe like that, we can realize Krishna very easily. Rasam apsu kaunteya, we have prasadam, we have juice, all these things, but you require water to quench your thirst. There is no substitute of water, because Krishna says the taste of water. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. There is no substitute for the water, although we may have chach, juice, but still you require water to quench your thirst. Yogeshwara. Yoga, link with Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. So until unless we link with Krishna or God, our yoga is simply gymnastic. Not only in Western countries, in India also, many fat women joins yoga to become thin. But that is not yoga, it's gymnastic, it's exercise, body exercise. Yoga means there must be God at center. Whether we call it Krishna or Jesus Christ or Pagamba, you have to have, that is yoga, link. So Krishna is the Yogeshwara, mystic of the yoga. He is the Ishvara, controller of the yoga. There are so many yogis. Expansion of Sobhari Rishi, expanded into 8 so many forms. But that is nothing to do with Krishna's expansion of 16,008 forms, which Narad Muni saw in his different palaces, and he was performing different activities. In whichever palace Narad Muni will enter, Krishna will welcome him like he had never met him in before other palace. So that is the Yogeshwara. Means he is a controller of not only yoga but yogis. And yoginam api sarvesham, in previous verse you have seen, madgatenantaratma, shraddhavan bhajate mam, sayukta tamo mata. The best yogi is that one whose consciousness is absorbed in Krishna, one who thinks of Krishna, shraddhavan, with faith. Shraddha shabda vishwas ka hai, sudrada nishchaya. Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hai. What is the shraddha? Talmal faith. One day I am very eager to chant our 16 noms, next day, oh, how to finish. So that is talmal, fluctuating. That is not. Shraddha means sudrada nishchaya, having the implicit faith. No other activities are required other than Krishna bhakti, devotional to Krishna. And that will perform, that will satisfy, because that is the watering of the root. Devotional service to Krishna, the watering of root. Otherwise, you go on serving, go on watering the leaves, twigs, you won't get. Similarly, you have the prasadam, mahaprasadam, halwa, rasgulla, go on touching with the hands, but you won't get. As soon as you put those mahaprasad to your stomach, you become. So Krishna is the root. When you are serving Krishna, the entire humanity, entire living being, not only human being, they become satisfied. So the way to take up that process of devotional service, gatim andha buddhi, a blind man leading to a blind man. Upgiyamana, Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us, and also he said, a blind man will live to a blind man, which is quite applicable to our present day democracy. Prabhupada said demon crazy. Yeah, demon crazy. Originally the definition was for the people, by the people, of the people. But now it's becoming for the blind, of the blind, and by the blind. Cheaters will elect the cheaters. We have seen so many scandals are coming daily. Because this democracy is like that, that's why we are in favor of monarchy. The supreme commander in our democracy, president of states, sits comfortably in his palace, and poor soldiers, infantry, they are fighting in the front. But in the monarchy system, king will lead. He will lead his army. So they also try to protect, and once the king is defeated, it is presumed that entire army is being defeated. But still he will lead the army, and the soldier will get the inspiration that yes, our king is leading us. So that is the not anna buddhi, blind following. Similarly, Prabhupada used to say, you have to follow, you have to understand Krishna with logic and arguments. You have got enough books, because arguments, of course, we welcome, but it is not the ultimate thing. Tarka pratishanat. I am better logician than you, I can convince you. And somebody is better than me, he can convince me. So Mahajan yena gatasa pantha. Argument is not the ultimate thing, but you have to follow the great authorities, the path traversed by them. And I get a time, the Prabhupada, how he mentions in Markine Bhagavad Dharma, which he wrote the September 18, 1965, that how Prahlad Maharaj is saying that we are sinking in the snake well full of snakes, full of material desires. But your servant, Narad Muni, who is my spiritual master, has saved me. So how can I leave his service and serve you? When he said, Lord Nrsimhadev, my first duty is to serve my Guru, Narad Muni. Because I was sinking in the blind well of material attachment. Then we have the word grahanubandha, graha. Grahast and grahmedinam. Grahas means while having in the center Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jedin grehet bhajan dekhi, grehet golok bhai. The day when I see the chanting or kirtan happening in my house, my home, it becomes a golok. So that is the ideal grahast. Grahmedhi means eat, sleep and be merry, just like animals, two-legged animals. We are simply satisfied with our enjoying. Who knows what happens tomorrow? So let's enjoy to our full satisfaction. So we say, okay, you enjoy, but then come to Krishna consciousness, but that is not possible. But that is a temporary satisfaction. So this graha, because matirna Krishna parto satova, mito vipadyet graha vratanam, adanta gobhi vishtam tamishram, punah charvit charvananam. Camel, when he goes to desert, he takes the thorn and chew. He is sucking his own blood, but he is enjoying that blood. Same thing applies to sense gratification. We are sucking our own blood, but we become very happy, we are enjoying this. So you have to be very careful. Of course, there are many devotees of Lord Chaitanya who were householders. Advaita Prabhu, Srivas Pandit, Shivananda Sen, Ramananda Rai, who was considered among the 3.5 devotees of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya says, when he sent this Shikimati for his teaching, he said, Lord Ramananda Rai is doing the messaging to Devdasis. He was teaching the songs to be sung in front of Lord Jagannath. And so he came back that how he is touching the parts of young girls. I don't think I'm no need of getting knowledge from Ramananda Rai. So Lord Chaitanya says, don't talk of Ramananda Rai. Even I, who is sannyasi, if I see a wooden doll, my mind becomes agitated. But he is living as a householder. And according to social custom, he was teaching a Shudra. He can control his senses. That's why Lord Chaitanya says, Kiva Vipra Kiva Shudra Nyasi Keninaye. Jai Krishna Tattveta Sei Guru Hai. We are one day sannyasi, other than other ashram, this and that. But you can know the Krishna Tattva in any ashram. Shukadeva Goswami, we were having the plan to go to Shukatal. So many elder personalities were there than him. So from age, knowledge is not considered or recognized. A young person can have more knowledgeable than the many old person. So that's the thing. There were many householder devotees were there, but Lord Chaitanya rejected Chota Haridas. The book, if you know, in Nectar of Instruction, first Srila Prabhupada mentions Prem Vivarta. है जगदानंद पंडित, ग्राम वार्ता न सुनिबे या मिलिबे आने. ग्राम वार्ता means the topics about worldly affairs. और यदि चाहे गौरंगेर प्रणय सने, if you want to keep your love for Lord Krishna, then छोटा हरिदास का था राखे जन मने. Always remember the story of Chota Haridas, how he was rejected. So many devotees, Samam Bhattacharya, even Lord Nityananda, they requested for him, but Lord was no. And when he committed suicide on Triveni, he said, yes, he got the perfect and the punishment befitting him. Although he got the Gandharva body, and still he was in the same service. He was a very good singer. So even after leaving this material body, he had that service, just like mango. You have unripe mango and ripe mango. So same devotional service in material world, no taste. But more you chant, more you become pure, that become ripe, and same happening in the spiritual world or Golok Vrindavan. So that is the thing that how he rejected. So in translation also we have got many important words. That the incarnation means, as you mentioned, that Rahuga is taking Jala Bharat as the incarnation of Kapila Dev. We know there are two couples. One is the Nastik couple, impostor couple, and one is the Lord Kapil Dev, son of Mother Devhuti. Here we have the Prabhupada's lectures, teaching of Lord Kapila. So same thing, he said that you are like incarnation of Kapila Dev. The incarnation means avatar, avatarana. You are on 7th floor, by lift you come to the ground floor. Similarly, Krishna descends from the spiritual world and to the material world. He incarnates, avatarana. He incarnates as Aicha Vigraha, so that we can decorate him. We cannot see with our gross senses. But even he incarnates, the pure devotee request, Lord comes. And for Krishna, there is no difference between Jala and Chetan, between Jala Bharat and Chetan Bharat. He can make Jala into Chetan, Chetan into Jala. Again we have got stories of Sakshi Gopal. I will go into detail. Already time is getting. Sakshi Gopal, how the Lord, he travelled from Vrindavan to that Vidyanagar. So he said, have you ever heard of a stone deity travelling, walking? So that young Brahman said, Prabhu, I never heard that also a stone deity talking to me. So when you can't talk, you can also walk. And Lord smiled and said, okay, on one condition, I will travel with you, but you don't look back. As you will see after, just stop there. So he said, you are very clever. Krishna, you are very clever. How am I going to know you are coming? So he said, okay, you will hear my ankle bells, sound of ankle bells, which will tell you that yes, I am following you. So when he reached the village, he turned back and Krishna said, now I am going no more further. Again, Kshirchara Gopinath. I mean, these are not very old stories with the Madhvendra Puripad. So how this is possible that we can have the mercy of Krishna, and he's saying that you are roaming about on the world to examine. That's like Parikshit Maharaj. Why Parikshit? Well, examining everyone. He saw Krishna in the womb of his mother, Uttara, and he was saying, he saw Krishna, so he was going to Pariksha. Same thing, Niriksha or Pariksha. That yeah, you are Krishna, you are Krishna. So his name becomes Parikshit. Similarly, he is examining whether who is actually a human being. As I mentioned, two-legged animal, who is actually the human being. So simple qualification, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jivataya Name Ruchi Sarva Dharmasa. To become merciful to living entities and to have the Ruchi or attachment to holy name is the essence of all types of religion. So what is the daya? To give a sick man food or anything is not a mercy. So how to make people free from this material? What is real daya? Is real paropkar. Bharata bhumi to halila manushya janma jar. Janma sarthaka kari kar parupakar. One who has taken his birth in the land of Bharatvarsh as a human being, same as a human being, which Jalbhat is examining, not as cats and dogs. He should make his life perfect by doing the paropkar, benefit to others. So, a person who can make free from this material world is a real paropkari. Not the person, of course, who gives you blanket, who gives you sweets, who distributes medicine. They are doing some type of paropkar, but not the ultimate benefit. So that is how we can become free. Janma karma chame divyam yome veti tattvata tyaktva deyam punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So you are feeling like deaf and dumb. Our Mahatma Gandhi, he used to keep 3 monkeys. One will close his eyes, one will put his ears, and one will close his mouth. Not to speak bad, not to hear bad. So similarly, a devotee, he becomes deaf and dumb as far as the material activities are concerned. But in preaching Krishna and explaining the glorification of Krishna, he becomes 100-headed, 100 mouths. That becomes less for him. 24 hours preaching. Srila Prabhupada will preach entire day. And he'll come in the night, take a small cup of milk and say, this is the perfection of life. To preach entire day and just take a small breakfast. So that is the attached, because he was, now Raghugan is presenting himself that he is very attached to his family. So in that situation, how he can get the spiritual knowledge? Same thing Sanatana Goswami asks Lord Chaitanya, Amike, who am I? Why these 3 sufferings, Adhyatmik, Adibhautik, Adidaivic Klesh, are giving me pain? So that is the beginning. Who am I? That is the beginning of spiritual life. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. You have made so many inquiries in other births, but now you have to inquire, who am I? So he said he is attached to worldly activities and family life. So sannyas means simply detachment is not enough. That's why so many sannyasis, so many Mayavadi sannyasis, they again come back of opening hospitals, institutions. So detachment is not sufficient, but we have to have attachment to the lotus feet of Krishna. An aeroplane, a rocket, a Sputnik can go in space, but if there is no space station or nothing, the resting place, they come down. So that is the Krishna's lotus feet, the resting place for us. And so he is asking that sannyasi has said attachment. Again, example is Madhavendra Puri Pad, when he found Gopal. At those days there was no transportation, and Gopal said, my dear Madhavendra, the burning of my body is not going. Please bring Malai wood sandal from the Jagannath Puri. So immediately, without thinking anything, without the difficulties on the path, he agreed, and he gave the worship to 2 of his disciples, and he was so happy that, oh, Gopal has asked me to do this service. So he went there, running, reached Gopinath, and you know the story how he got that pot of kheer from the Gopinath hid. It was 12 pots. He hid 1 pot, and the old Pujari, give this pot to my devotee Madhavendra Puri. He is sitting in the marketplace chanting. So he gave, who is Madhavendra Puri? He is very fortunate for you, Gopinath.